NFL's Week 3 is officially underway. We got several big games to look forward to on Sunday, and of course, a huge Monday Night Football game, Detroit and Baltimore. But first, he's Ed. I'm Brandon. Welcome to the Breaking and Entering podcast. Ed, how's it going today?
It's going all right. It's going all right. Happy Saturday, everyone. Looking forward to this weekend of football. Even though my starting quarterback is out, because we're gonna get into it. Let's get into this opening drive, though, shall we? Former Cowboys linebacker D.D. Lewis, who played in 5 Super Bowls, passed away at 79 years old. Jets quarterback Justin Fields will miss Sunday's game against Tampa Bay for concussion. Tyrod Taylor will start. The Commanders have signed Preston Smith, linebacker. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray has apologized for a social media post with him wearing a Michael Vick jersey while posing with his pet bulldog. Jayden Daniels will sit Sunday's game against the Raiders. Marcus Mariota is set to start. Young Wei Koo has been released by the Falcons. The Commanders have been given final approval to return to DC. A new stadium is expected to be completed by 2030. And go figure, the NFL says Eagles should have been flagged for the fourth quarter push conversion and win over the Chiefs. Um, just want to say, might have my bonehead move of the day, that Cardinals, Kyler Murray posting that picture in a Michael Vick jersey with his dog. I know he said that like Michael Vick was his favorite player and stuff like that, but just optics wise, wasn't a good look. Wasn't a good look for Michael Vick either. I mean, he's pretty much moved on for, but now the people got to like dig up his past history and stuff like that. So come on, Kyle, they got to be a little smarter than that and read the room.
And I heard you want a new kicker, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, I see Young Wei Koo's been released, so we can give him a call. There's a bunch of kickers like the San Fran Jake Moody. He's out there too. Let's give these guys a call, get some competition. And I'm not too sold on our kicker Matt Gay right now, so let's get some competition in there.
All right, the Finns and the Bills kicked off Week 3 Thursday night with an AFC East matchup in Buffalo. The Bills came out on top 31-21. I feel like Buffalo won this game because of their about three main players. Of course, we know Josh Allen, 22 for 28, 213 yards, three touchdowns, another 25 yards on the ground. Yeah, James Cook out there had a pretty good game, 19 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown. And Terrell Bernard had that game sealing fourth quarter interception late in regulation there. But let me not forget some of the guys that made plays as well. Dalton Kincaid. He had that the ball was a little bit over his head. He had to reach out for it, but a great play kind of shook the defender, went in for the touchdown, Buffalo's first touchdown. Halls came back on the Bills' second scoring drive. He had a touchdown from Allen. It was a really great play by Josh Allen. He had a kind of like a flick of the wrist type play to his third tight end, I believe he is. And he scampered in for the touchdown there. I think this Bills team is really good. We can't deny that. But on the other hand, Miami kept things pretty interesting Thursday night. You can't take that away from them. I think their special teams made plays. That first, I believe, the first kickoff return, the opening kickoff return, they set up the offense pretty well. Miami went straight downfield and scored, and I was kind of like, man, might Miami pull off this upset? Might they, get their first win of the season? Um, and then late in the fourth quarter, Miami had a 67-yard drive. Tua hit Tyreek for a touchdown, short touchdown. He had just hit somebody else on the previous drive for a touchdown as well, if I'm not mistaken. But their struggles are mainly on defense. Um, they were already short corners going into this season. I think they had two other players get banged up in this game, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so their secondary, their linebackers, they're really struggling to keep people out of the end zone, to keep people from going up and down the field. Those pass rushers are still decent, but that back end is really an issue for them. So I think this Buffalo team will continue to be a problem, a threat for many people. I have them very high in the AFC. Probably, I think they're one seed. I have them finishing. They're definitely looking good right now. 3-0. They have a pretty good cushion there in the AFC East. But Ed, what did you think about this one?
Good teams find ways to win games. Bad teams always find ways to lose a game. It's so frustrating watching the Bills play because they always seem to be on the ropes to get someone, and then something happens in their favor, either a turnover or a penalty. I mean, it happened against y'all first week. Same thing happened against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football, man. They had it on the screen, Amazon Prime, which I didn't even realize, but Tua is 1-9 in his career against the Bills. Just never plays the best when he's against the Bills. The team, for the most part, found ways to lose games last night. They had like 3 consecutive drives where they extended the drive for the Bills as a penalty or something they did, bonehead decision. I remember their safety. This wasn't to extend the drive, but it was the Bills were in the goal line on the red zone. And I think his name is Jordan Peterson, I want to say, number 20 for the Dolphins. He basically got a unnecessary roughness because he kept trying to drive Josh Allen to the ground. The whistle was blown, the play was dead, and like it's 3 seconds of him continue to like try to drag Josh Allen to the ground. They if they would have he would have just let it go, would have been they lost some yards on that play. They were at the 1, they would have got pushed back to the 4, but they reset the downs. The next play they scored a touchdown. It's like little things like that that were happening throughout the night that you can't do that against good teams because they're going to find ways to win. And they got them on the 4th down. They were able to punt the ball, and I believe it was the defensive tackle Zach Sealer, I believe, one of their best players on the defense, in my opinion. He tried to make a play. It was an unfortunate play for him. He tried to block the punt, but he ran into the punter, and they got a first down. The Bills did, and they were to drive down the field and score. So it was little stuff like that was happening the whole night. Where honestly, the Dolphins had a really good chance of winning this game. But like you said, Terrell Bernard had that interception at the end. Tua was talking after the game saying he would make that play 10 out of 10 times. I'm not too sure about that. If he watched the film, he definitely probably would go back on what he said too. He also said there are no moral victories, which I agree with. Yes, they played better than they had the first 2 weeks, but they still lost the game. They still made a ton of mistakes. Tua had that costly interception at the end. I was just like, oh, goodness, I was kind of rooting for them. I wanted them to pull off the upset against the Bills, but not going to happen. James Cook for the Bills has been off to a great start this season for the Bills, man. If he continues to go like this, I could definitely see the Bills coming out the AFC because he's been playing really well. No comment on Josh Allen. We already know what he's going to do. MVP candidate type like every year. He can throw the ball. You can put a referee out there. He'll fight him, get some yards with him. So we'll see how that goes. But looking at the next 3-4 games for the Dolphins, they do have a chance to come back. I mean, they're playing the Panthers. They got the Chargers in there. They might lose that game, but they got some winnable games coming up. I know the Panthers is one of them. I think it was the Saints or somebody. Some other teams that aren't too good right now. So even though they're 0-3, they have a good chance of winning a few games and turning the season around. So we'll definitely see what happens with that front.
All right, Ed, a pair of undefeated NFC West teams will battle it out at Levi's Stadium Sunday afternoon. One team will come out with their first loss, while the other will have first place in their division. How do you feel about this one shaping up? Cardinals at Niners.
Yeah, someone's O has got to go. We'll see who it's going to be. Even though Mac Jones might play again, I'm still leaning towards the 49ers just because the last 2 games the Cardinals won. They did win, but in my opinion, they were against lesser competition, and they couldn't put those teams away. They couldn't put the Panthers away, and they couldn't put the Saints away. They both had chances to win the game at the end. If it's a scenario like that happening again where they, had the lead in the 4th quarter, I could definitely see the 49ers coming back and winning this game. Let's see if the Cardinals can stop McCaffrey and company, Brian Robinson and them. If they can do a good job of that, I like their chances, but I'm not too sure if they can do that or not. I'm leaning towards the 49ers in this one. I think the Cardinals can jump out on them. I think they have a little bit more talent right now. I like Kyler Murray, Trey McBride. Hopefully Marvin Harrison. I know he doesn't care because of winning games, but hopefully he gets a little bit more targets. That was kind of an issue his rookie year where he wasn't getting the ball a lot during games. Hopefully they feed him, saying that strictly because of fantasy purposes, but I do think he gives them a good chance of winning games too. So we'll see what happens. But Right now, I'm leaning toward the Niners in this one, and I got the Cardinals as one of my sleeper teams making the playoffs. But just those first 2 weeks, especially that last game where they were doing everything in their power to give the Panthers a chance to come back and win it at the end with the turnover. I mean, the penalties and things like that. I'm leaning towards the 49ers to win this one. I think they're favored to win, but I think the Cardinals right now have a better team, especially since Brock Purdy's still. I haven't heard if he'll be back or not, but if Mac Jones is the quarterback, I like Arizona odds, but I still like the Niners to win this game just because Cardinals haven't been able to close out games like they should be. What are your thoughts?
So it's the home opener for the Niners. I think the crowd will be into it. That'll also factor into it as well. I think the weather will be pretty good as well for both teams. Arizona's a dome team, so you got to consider that as well. I think San Fran is going to try to run the ball heavy in this one, try to uh, wear out that Arizona defense. Last week they aired it out. The Niners aired it out a lot more than they did in week one. Arizona's defense has been a little shaky against the run, but I'm sure they've been focusing on ways to slow down Christian McCaffrey. They got a defensive coach and Jonathan Gannon. I'm sure he's been in that defensive room trying to say, let anybody on this 49ers team beat us except for him. You probably don't want Mac Jones beating you either. But as far as that, that's a mantra that a lot of people say, let anybody on this team beat us except for pretty much their best player. We know Kittle won't be back for this one. So I'm thinking it'll be a heavy dose of Ricky Pearsall in the passing game. But for Arizona, I think they can go into Santa Clara and come out with a win. That's if they can limit the penalties and don't let the opposing team stick around. You mentioned that early on as well. They've done that in their first two games. They had 9 penalties in week one. They just about a dozen last week in their game. I believe it was against Carolina, and plus they were up 20-3 at halftime, and let the opposing team come back. Nearly lost that one, but yeah, for now I'm leaning towards Arizona. I think the injuries are going to catch up to San Fran in this one. As you mentioned, Brock Purdy's likely not going to be out there. We know Kittle's not going to be out there. Jawan Jennings is a questionable at this moment. Last I saw, he's looking like probably the most favorable to come back, but I think Arizona is the more healthier team. I think they have a better chance of winning in a shootout if this, because you never know how it's going to go. If this happens to end up in a you score, I score type of game, um, but I wouldn't be surprised if San Fran pulls out this one. This should be a very good game there in San Francisco.
Definitely. All right, let's go to Vegas coming to town, everybody. The Raiders are coming to Maryland to take on the Commanders. Brandon, how do you see this one going?
Joe Witt Jr., I need to know what his game plan is for stopping Ashton Genty and Jacoby Myers plus Brock Bowers. I know Genty hasn't started as well as I thought, but anything is possible against his Commanders defense. Ed says it all the time over the last couple of years, honestly, that the linebackers disappear. Every big play for the opposing team, you look out there and the linebackers are nowhere to be found. And we're talking about wide shot cameras too. So Wagner, Luvu, Miller, y'all boys need to show up for real. Last week we saw Tucker Craft wide the hell open against the Commanders and went down the field, just barely missed the end zone on that one. I think he didn't score. I can't remember exactly. And now we bring in one of the best young tight ends in football, Brock Bowers. Anybody that has the Washington defense in fantasy football, y'all might want to sit them this week. But as for the Washington offense, no pressure. Get a first down, okay, on the first play. I know it's easier said than done. But last week I think y'all didn't get a first down until early second quarter, mid second quarter. It was rough out there early on. I remember you texting me about that one. So this is a team that Washington should beat, in my opinion. But in the absence of Jayden Daniels, it could mean this game could go in either direction. Honestly, Las Vegas, Geno Smith, Chip Kelly. I think they should change the game plan and try to run the ball heavy, keep the ball out of the hands of Geno. And yes, I'm talking about their own guy because he's coming off of 3 interceptions. So we don't want him passing the ball. If I'm a Raiders fan or anybody on that team, I don't want him passing the ball right now. I mean, that's a lot of interceptions. So yeah, Ed, how do you see this one going?
I'm wondering how the offensive line is going to come out there and respond. They got Max Crosby coming in town. He's a premier edge rusher. Are y'all going to let him wreck the game like y'all did Michael Parsons and crew? Jayden Daniels, I got to go back to the Packers game. He was getting pushed, shoved on the ground practically every time he dropped back the pass. And I was very disappointed in the O line and how they reacted. It was like they didn't even care some plays, stuff like that. So I'm trying to see how the O line looks this game with Mariota out there. Are they going to be improved or is it going to be the same old, same old? Because Max Crosby definitely has the ability to wreck a game. And I can see him making a few plays out there. Are you gonna let him do this on third and shorts, third and mediums, situations like that? I hope not, but we'll see. Other thing is, like you talked about, what's the defense going to do? I'm not too concerned about the run game right now. These first couple weeks, we've been pretty decent against the run. I know Josh Jacobs scored a touchdown, but we for the most part held him in check. He only had 84 yards rushing on like 23 attempts. So I'm not too concerned about Ashton Genty. We'll see how that goes. I am concerned about, like you mentioned, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Marshawn Lattimore, let's face it, he was getting picked on last game from the jump. I mean, even though he got shoved in one play, they didn't call anything on that. It should have been an offensive pass interference. He was getting picked on. I can see Jacoby Myers, whoever's on Lattimore, I can see them trying to throw the ball at him. So we'll see. Also, Brock Bowers, I could definitely see him going for like 150 and two touchdowns. We got to do something with these linebackers, man. You talked about it. I've been talking about it. Get some new blood in there. We got the 6th-round pick, Kane Madrano, linebacker out of UCLA. Think he's just playing special teams or something. We got to change it up or something? Because I'm telling you, man, these linebackers are killing us. They are killing us. I'll give them credit against the run. They're pretty good against the run, but pass coverage or needing to make a play happen when it's time to make a play happen, they either going to fuck around and get a penalty or they're just going to get the doors blown off them, as we saw last week with Tucker Kraft running up and down the field like he was playing 7-on-7. So we got to see how that goes. With that being said, though, I like the Commanders too. Mariota came in last year and was able to win games. I think he can do the same thing. This is week 3 for Terry McLaurin. I know he was sitting in the preseason and training camp for the most part, so he didn't have a lot of time out there. But this is week 3. I think we'll see him get a little bit more going, get that football shape back in him even more. I think McLaurin will have a decent game to a big game out there with Mariota. So I'm looking to see him step up. Debo and Zach Ertz are already in shape, game time, prime time shape. So I'm not surprised that they put up big numbers, but I think Terry McLaurin, especially against this Raiders secondary, can have a really good game out there. So give me the Commanders in a close one because I feel like the defense is going to give up some plays, but I think the Commanders should come out on top of this one and win this game. I'm hoping for it at least. We'll see what happens. All right, we're gonna get into another NFC matchup. This is a playoff rematch. Rams against the Eagles. See how this game goes. Last year, the Rams played the Eagles pretty good in the playoff match for the most part. They had some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I remember one of their rookie linemen on the defensive side, Braden Fisk, went out the game, and it seemed like after that point they kind of lost a little bit of edge. Saquon Barkley was able to get off a little bit more. But he'll be back. I know he was dealing with an oblique injury during the week. He tweaked his oblique during practice, but I believe he's going to be back out there. So I'm interested to see how this Rams defensive line does against the Eagles offensive line. They could be able to make Jalen throw the ball more because if Stafford can handle that defensive line and defense of the Eagles and get out there, he's got Devontae Adams out there now. I can see Stafford and company testing that defense of secondary of the Eagles. And I like Kyron Williams as a running back as well. So I could definitely see them scoring and going up on the Eagles where the Eagles are forced to throw the ball a little bit more. I want to see how Jalen does like that because he really hasn't had to throw the ball too much. But when he does need to throw the ball, he has made plays. So I want to see if they get if the Rams put the Eagles in a situation where they're up maybe like 10-0 or something like that. And Jalen does have to throw the ball a little bit more. How is he going to react out there? Because I think the Rams defense is really good all over. They got some playmakers on the defensive line, and I like what they got in the secondaries as well. But I need to see, like I said, the O line of the Eagles and the Rams defensive line. Because I mean, they still got Saquon, and he still, has that game breaking ability. If the Rams can do more of a bend don't break, or where they just dominate out there. I haven't seen anybody dominate the Eagles offensive line of yet. So I'm not saying that the Rams defensive line will be able to do that, but I am wanting to see how those two mesh and how that goes. So right now I'm leaning towards the Eagles just a little bit, but I don't know, man. Something's telling me like if the Eagles can't get to Stafford, make him panic because he's a little older now, been in the league for a long while. If they can't make him panic, force a turnover, anything like that, make him get a mistake. I like the Rams in this one, but I got to go with the Eagles just because they're a really complete team. I don't want to do it, but I'm leaning towards the Eagles in this one. But Lord, Rams, please win this one, please. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is shaping up to be one of the better matchups of the weekend, as you mentioned. Rams defensive line versus the Eagles offensive line. I think you can take that the other way as well. The Philadelphia defensive line versus the Rams offensive line. This could be a game that's, um, when we look back on it, had a big impact in the trenches. Um, we just haven't seen the Eagles pass game come to form yet. I know it's only been 2 games. I don't think we'll see much of it Sunday afternoon either as well because of the Rams defense. Byron Young, he's already had 3 sacks this season in 2 games. Plus, they have good corners out there in Los Angeles that compress their wide receivers and play good man to man. Last week, they sacked Cam Ward 5 times. I know it's a difference between a rookie first round pick, number 1 overall pick, and Cam Ward and Jalen Hurts, a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP, but still, I mean, you look at it, stats are stats. So I think it's going to be another game of Jalen Hurts making plays with his legs and hoping that the Philly run game could be effective as well. We all know what Saquon can do. Um, also believe Philly needs a defensive score as well if they want to win this one. Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams, they've came on strong to start this season. I'll also be watching for Tyler Higbee, seeing if he can make some plays against that Philly secondary. They haven't given up a lot of yards to the tight end, but the passing lanes have been open to the tight end so far this year. We saw a little bit in week 1 against Dallas for Philly, and we saw Kelsey make some plays as well, some big plays. Again, the yardage wasn't there, but they were making plays. This Rams defense has played really well in the first 2 games. I think they may give Philly some fits overall. So I'm going to lean towards the Rams for now. We'll see how it goes. I think the Rams can go into Philly and win this one. I don't think they'll be intimidated by them. I know again this is one of those teams where the home crowd factors into this game as well. Look out for false starts and stuff like that, jumping off sides. But I think the Rams can go into the link and win in Philly on Sunday afternoon.
All right.
All right, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD health and wellness company. Check out their line of CBD infused products, which are a perfect workout refill for athletes, a pain reliever for weekend warriors, and even a natural sports drink for us armchair quarterbacks. Their featured product is a CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures and mint and natural flavors. They are veteran and women and minority owned. So come get some of this sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is www.premium.com. And now back to our show. It's a classic AFC matchup with Pittsburgh and New England Sunday afternoon in Foxborough. Ed, what do you expect out of this one?
My opinion, this is a must-win game for the Steelers. Steelers defense, y'all better not let Drake May and company go off. Seems to me the run defense for the Steelers has been a little bit shaky. So I'm looking to see how they'll do against Ramondre Stevenson and the rookie Trevion Henderson. Also, Stephon Diggs and company are around town too. So I'm looking to see how the Steelers defense looks against the Patriots offense. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's into a little groove right now. So I like to see. I think he'll do all right against the Patriots defense, but Mike Vrabel will definitely have those boys ready to play on the Patriots side of the defense. So see how it goes. Right now, I'm leaning to the Steelers. I do think this is a must-win game for them. looking to see DK Metcalf go off and somebody else on the Pat Fryer move, Jonnu Smith. Those guys have been pretty good. But I want to see how the Steelers' running game looks against the Patriots defense. Jaylen Warren, and hopefully the rookie is not in the doghouse for the bonehead kickoff blunder he had last week. Caleb Johnson, I believe his name is. Hopefully he's not in the doghouse and he's able to go out there and redeem himself. But I'm looking to see how the Steelers' run game looks out there too. But I'm going to lean with the Steelers in this one, even though they're going against the road. Looks like Vegas has them favored about 1.5 too. I'm leaning towards the Steelers in this one, but they better not let that they better not let Drake May get in a rhythm and go off, because he definitely gets you with the legs as well as the pass game. So yeah, give me the Steelers in this one. I think it'll be a little close though. What about you, Brandon?
I believe I heard Caleb Johnson is not going to be returning kicks this week. Don't quote me, but I believe that's what I heard. Um, but if there's three teams, if there's three teams besides the Ravens that I pay attention to a lot, it's the other teams in the AFC North. And I think that Pittsburgh can find themselves in a hole fast. Not because the Patriots offense is flashy or top tier. It's because Pittsburgh has been struggling in two phases of the game that matter a lot. It's the offensive line and the defensive line. Teams have been running the ball up and down the field on this, on the Steelers team. They've been imposing their will on the defensive line as well. And then you factor in the part that Mike Vrabel is the Patriots coach and he's known for his physicality. Um, I'm sure Mike Tomlin has been spending time with both his offensive line and his defensive line all week long to try to get things straightened up, because that's all the talk that I've heard this week, especially on ESPN Radio this week, is talking about the just the way teams have been able to do what they wanted to against the Steelers defense for sure. But I think if New England wants to get a win on Sunday, they need to tighten up their pass defense. They've given up 300 plus yards to Tua Tagovailoa. They've given up 300 plus yards to Geno Smith. Now you have Aaron Rodgers coming to town. He's basically seen everything. It could be another long day for this Patriots defense from a statistical standpoint, from getting off the field on third down, stuff like that. But with that said, I think it's going to be an up and down type of season for the Steelers. They're coming off a loss. Pittsburgh does have a lot of guys banged up, especially on defense, but I think they can get it right, at least for this one. New England's not a team that, that we're probably going to be talking about finishing in the top four in the AFC or high in the power rankings, something like that. I think they can go into New England and get a win on the road. I think Mike Tomlin can turn some things around after, coming off a loss, heading into another week. Again, it'll be an up and down season for the Steelers, in my opinion, but I think this week will be an up and high for them, for the Steelers. Give me the Steelers in Massachusetts to take the W.
Let's see how they do. We're going to take it to the Monday night game, Lions at the Ravens. Brandon, I know you don't like primetime games, but how you feeling about this one?
No, that's right, for sure. All right, everyone. 3-0. LJ, he's undefeated against Jared Goff. 6-1. That's the Ravens' record against the Lions. The last time we played them, it was a complete ass whooping. The 2023 season, we beat the hell out of them. I remember I was coming off a cruise, tired as hell, but I stayed up for that 1 o'clock game. I just got home, but I wanted to sleep so bad, but they actually made it favorable for me because we had them in the bag by halftime. But it's not about the past; it's about now. I think we are struggling mightily on defense. I believe we are the league's worst overall defense in yards per game, mainly because of week one. And it only has 2 games to add into and make your average right now. So this will be a good game for Owe, Travis Jones, and Mike Green and them boys to show the hell up. We haven't seen much penetration, and we need it on Sunday because Goff and his skill position players, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameer Gibbs, they can catch the ball out of the backfield and run the ball. Jameson Williams, the tight end Sam Laporta, he's coming off a 5 touchdown performance. But my eyes will be on 2 of those guys I just mentioned, Jameer Gibbs and Sam Laporta, each and every offensive play. For Detroit, we know that Jameer Gibbs is one of the best in the business. Sam Laporta, we not only is he a good tight end, but we struggle against the tight end as well. Gibbs cannot have more than 25 to 30 yards at halftime, period. Not only do I hate letting running backs get over 100 yards against us, but it's needed in this game. We got to be able to shut down the run. I'll take the passing yards that Goff is going to put up against us, but we got to be able to stop the run, at least make them one dimensional in that term. But of course, the talk has been around our defensive issues, but and as well as the lack of productivity by Mark Andrews, that's making big headlines in Baltimore right now. Those things are important, but I feel like Derrick Henry should be featured early and often. We want to try to eliminate Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, and Alex Anzalone. Those are two really good young linebackers, and of course, Ed's guy out of University of Michigan. Those three guys in all can wreak havoc on a game, especially Aiden. Not to mention Brian Branch. He's one of the better safeties in the game, and he's coming off a great game in Chicago. I think he was Ed's defensive player last week.
He was.
So, yeah, I know LJ is going to do his thing. I'd love to see a big game from Bateman and Zay in prime time. That's just what I want to see, obviously. But heading into this season, I thought this was a game that was going to be tough but winnable. Again, we have a good record against the Lions. We seem to have their number. We seem to know some of the things that they're going to do. Again, we completely shut down their team 2 years ago, and it's not much difference between in their roster between a couple years ago and now. Honestly, it's not. But yeah, I have respect for the Ravens. I have respect for the Lions, but go Ravens. I give us a 6 to 7 point victory there at the bank. How do you feel?
Which defense will stop the other team's offense? Which defense is going to stop the run? You mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's a premier back in this league. They got David Montgomery too. I think they're the best 1-2 punch running the ball, in my opinion. So need to see how that Ravens defense looks against the Lions rushing game. And you mentioned it, the pass rush. Are these guys going to show up? Because the first two games they really haven't been. If they're not able to get pressure on Jared Goff, give him time in the pocket to find Laporta, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Browns, and others, as he mentioned, could be a long day for the Ravens. But I think you guys will be able to run the ball, move the ball. I could see y'all dominating the time of possession and just keeping the Lions defense on the field for a long periods of time, tiring them out and breaking them down and not even giving the Lions too much opportunities to get the ball. I can see that scenario definitely playing out. But got to play good football. Lions are a good team, in my opinion. I know they're 1-1, still earning team, but historically, these last couple of years, they've been a good team, and you got to not make mistakes against good teams. So no turnovers. Like you mentioned, Brian Branch, I think he's a ball hawk, game-changing playmaker out there. Don't give him an opportunity to get the ball for his Lions and give them opportunities to score the ball on y'all. So I think y'all will dominate the time of possession, running the ball. Derrick Henry's going to have a good game. I'm kind of biased in this one. I got fantasy football implications on both sides. I got Zay Flowers on one of my teams, and I got Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta on another of my teams. So I'm hoping this is a high-scoring game. I'm hoping it's a shootout between y'all two. But in the end, I think the Ravens will win. The scenario I played out, though, doesn't make it seem like it'll be a high-scoring game. I think the Ravens should win this one pretty handily. I got them winning by a touchdown as well. But if y'all don't get pressure on Jared Goff, he gets in the rhythm. I could definitely see him doing some things out there. Sam Laporta having a good game. As you mentioned, y'all have some issues at times covering the tight end. But I think Kyle Hamilton is going to make a play on Jared Goff. I think somebody's going to get to Jared Goff. He's not the most mobile quarterback out there. I'm sure y'all get at least one pressure on him, and that one pressure will lead to a mistake happening, I think. But don't, like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs can't go off. David Montgomery can't go off either. But give me the Ravens in this one too. I like them by a touchdown. I think y'all should. I don't think the Lions will be able to stop Derrick Henry and company and don't have any turnovers. I mean, I know that's the obvious, but you can't let that happen.
All right, several of the games on the schedule for week 3: Packers and Browns, Colts at Titans, Bengals at Vikings, Jets at Bucks, Falcons at Panthers, Houston at Jacksonville. We got the late window opening up with the Broncos and Chargers, Saints at Seahawks, Cowboys at Bears, and Sunday night football from MetLife is Chiefs and Giants. Ed, which of these games are you looking forward to?
We both were talking about it. The Chiefs and Giants game. We both could see the Giants winning. Now, will that happen? Probably not. Chiefs probably gonna go on there and blow the doors off them, so they won't follow 0-3. But I definitely could see the Giants doing something crazy and winning that game. So we'll see how that goes. Gonna be looking at the Cowboys Bears game as well. Matt Eberflus is a DC for the Cowboys, if I'm not wrong. So he's going up against his former team. I'm sure he'll be motivated to come out there with a win. I'll see how that goes. Gonna be looking at the Packers Browns game as well, just to see how dominant the Packers defense looks against the Browns, or where the Browns do Browns things. Joe Flacco turns into, the Super Bowl winning quarterback that he was back with y'all back in the day, and somehow win the game. You never know with the Browns. Falcons and Panthers, I always like divisional matchups. NFC South, definitely a weird division. You think a team that's on top of that division should beat the lower team, and then some BS happens and the Panthers end up winning the game. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that. Hint, hint, this will be a parlay thing too. I'm gonna talk about a little bit. But and then Seahawks at the Saints, looking at that too. And of course the Broncos at the Chargers. Almost missed that one. That's a divisional game as well. Two pretty good teams. The Chargers right now looking really good. I want to see how the Broncos rebound if that defense can return to form. But those are the main games we're looking at. Colts and Titans, we'll see how Cam Ward does out there, and if Daniel Jones can keep it going, but we'll see. What about you?
Yeah, Colts and Titans, first road game for the Colts after a surprising 2-0 start. Will Daniel Jones go to 3-0, or will Cam Ward get his first win? Bengals and Vikings, they've been calling this the backup bowl all week. Go Vikings, please beat the Bengals. We don't want them continuing to win and then Joe Burrow potentially coming back late in the season, possibly the playoffs. Falcons and Panthers, this Atlanta defense has been playing lights out to start the season. Good luck, Bryce Young, in this one for sure. Broncos and Chargers, a lot will be learned from this game, y'all. Are the Broncos overrated? Are the Chargers legitimate threats in the AFC, in the NFL overall? So that's another good one to watch. Cowboys and Bears, you mentioned it. If Dallas loses to the Bears, Lord have mercy. I'll be looking for one of them Stephen A. Smith videos, like you mentioned last week. You thought it was going to be after I think it was the Malik Neighbors touchdown score. You thought the Cowboys may have fallen to the Giants. They, saying we may be possibly getting that Stephen A. Smith video this weekend. And then Chiefs and Giants, please win, New York. Please, please, please. But like you said, it's likely not going to happen. It is the home opener for them. It would be a statement win for them there at MetLife against the defending champions that are, again, currently, I got to take it, well, I can say it, currently winless.
Yeah, you mentioned the Vikings Bengals game too. I forgot about that one because Carson Wentz is playing that one. So I'm gonna see how he looks out there. If he plays well, it could be like last year where he gets a job and they go and win 14, 15 damn games or something crazy like that. That'd be really funny if that happens. All right, we're going to get into our parlays of the week. This one's a little bit more difficult for me this week. At first couple weeks, I had 5 teams. I'm not sure I'll have this one. I'm gonna start with the Ravens over the Lions. I like that. Give me the Packers over the Browns. Give me the Seahawks over the Saints, and I'm gonna do one more for you guys. I can't do the Niners Cardinals. This is a tough one. Yeah, give me Ravens, give me the Packers, give me the Seahawks. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. Give me the Falcons, and you know what? I'm gonna give me the Texans too. So I got the Ravens, the Packers, the Falcons, the Texans, and the Saints. That is my parlay of the week. Brandon, who you got?
Okay, my parlay is, and I know this one is over with, it's in the books, but I had the Bills over the Dolphins. We saw Tua's record against the Bills and Josh Allen's on the opposite side, Josh Allen's record against the Dolphins. That was one again. Take it whatever way you want. But looking towards Sunday, Green Bay over Cleveland, Tampa Bay will win against the Jets. That's my parlay. Green Bay and Tampa Bay and the Bills previously.
The two bays. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I should have mentioned Tampa Bay as
Yep.
well. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for another episode of Breaking and Entering Podcast. Hopefully next week we'll both be on Victory Tuesday, but we'll see how it goes. Until then, y'all be safe out there. As always, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Look for us on Breaking and Entering Podcast, B&E Podcast. You can find us on social media, Twitter, known as X, Podcast B&E, Instagram, B&E Podcast as well. Y'all take it easy out there. We'll see y'all next week.